culture.
All right, it is time to do this. This is Pop Your Culture right here on Radio Gordo and on Cheer FM. I'm your host, Randall Liberon, here to guide us through 2 hours. And on this particular musical journey, we're going to dive into the life and potentially more of the dark side of James Douglas Morrison, a.k.a. Jim Morrison, a.k.a. the Lizard King, aka Mr. Mojo Rising. It was on July 3rd, 1971 that his body was found in a Paris bathtub. So having just recently passed this anniversary once again, I figured it was time for us to maybe dive into some of the work and some of the myths surrounding the man himself. There are a lot of interesting stories and different levels with which we can view them depending on where we want to go. One of the big ones actually revolves around his father. His father was George Stephen Morrison. He was Admiral Morrison, who commanded U.S. naval forces and some of the particular forces under his guidance, his command, was the ships involved in the Gulf of Tonkin incident in August of 1964. Now, that particular incident was the incident that drew the Americans into war in Vietnam. Until then, it was kind of these weird series of political skirmishes. I guess what we would almost call a certain degree of black ops happening, sort of illegal involvement. The Americans wanted to be involved in a war that I guess we could almost look back on as being a proxy war for a war between the capitalist Americans and the communist Russians, and I suppose utilizing kind of North Vietnam is a way to have that proxy war. Now, I bring this up because there have been certain people that have, and if you spend much time on the internet, like I do, it is possible to find these things. There's a big theory that's been put forward that Jim Morrison was created by the establishment as part of the same, basically, cultural political obfuscation that his father was a part of, in that his father created a lie in order to get the Americans into Vietnam War, in much the same way that Jim Morrison and the Doors were created in order to be countercultural symbols, figures, and basically idols to occupy the attention of students who would otherwise be protesting against the war or be protesting for increased civil rights. There is really interesting implications and insinuations that have been made revolving around the Laurel Canyon scene in Southern California, which the Doors were definitely kind of part of, and the operation of a fully functioning self-contained CIA media studio. There are a number of artists from the era who are said to have frequented that particular location. Stephen Stills was born an Army brat, as obviously Jim Morrison was. Now, I think we could maybe look at that as being maybe a bit of a coincidence. I mean, young men in their early 20s and the mid 60s, the chances of being Army brats are pretty good. If we're really honest about it, baby boomers, it came out of that. Now, the fact that Jim Morrison's dad was the admiral of a ship involved in the Gulf of Tonkin, that's interesting fuel for that particular mill. Now, whether or not it's true, I think it just adds to some of the myth and mystique around the dark side of Jim Morrison. Here's a couple of Doors songs now from a box set of just weird outtakes and rarities from the Doors. We have 2 songs. We have Whiskey, Mystics, and Men version number 1 standing by. But first up is a track from 1969. This is called Who Scared You?
into time's arms with all of your charms, my love. Why were you born just to play with me, to freak out or to be beautiful, my dear? Load your head, blow it up, feeling good, baby. Load your head, blow it up, feeling good, baby. Well, my room is so cold, you know you don't have to go, my babe. And if you warm it up right, I'm gonna love you tonight, my love. Well, I'm glad that we came. I hope you're feeling the same. Who scared you and why were you born? Please stay. I see a rider coming down the road. Got a virgin carrying a heavy load. One sack of silver and one bag of gold.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Well, I'll tell you a story of whiskey and mystics and men, da-da-da, and about the believers and how the whole thing began, da-da-da. First there were women and children obeying the moon, da-da-da. Then daylight brought wisdom and fever and sickness too soon. Da-da-da. You can try to remind me instead of the other you can. Da-da-da. You can help to ensure that we all insecure our command. Da-da-da. If you don't give a listen, I won't try to tell your new hand. Da-da-da. This is it, can't you see that we all have our ends in the van? Da-da-da. 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 And if all of the teachers and preachers of wealth were arraigned, we could see quite a future for me in the literal have no forgiveness, forgetfulness, faithful remorse. Da-da-da. So I tell you, we must send away. Da-da-da. We must try to find a new answer instead of a way.
Two cuts to open up pop your culture this week, both of them taken from the Behind Closed Doors box set from the Doors. That was Whiskey, Mystics, and Men, version 1, recorded at Elektra Studios in 1970. Also recorded in Elektra Studios, but in 1969 was the opening cut, Who Scared You? Now to continue this sort of exploration of the potential dark side of Jim Morrison a little bit more, and maybe understand a little bit about the lionized, mythologized figure of rock and roll from the late 60s. Morrison is said to have been, despite being an army brat, or maybe because of it, very literary minded, with a reported IQ when tested in high school of about 149, according to some of my research. He was said to have been such a voracious reader that when it came time to do work in school, he asked to do book reports on books that teachers needed to research to see if they actually existed, and more often than not, it turned out that they did. Morrison also had kind of a penchant for dark humor, what we would consider now as well racially insensitive humor, especially if you read some of the biographies written about the man. It's a product of his time, his upbringing, to a certain extent, his intelligence as he looked to provoke people that maybe he didn't always take seriously. He did hold himself a little bit aloof, I think, to maybe be polite about it. He wasn't always the easiest person to get along with in that way. Said to have been incredibly obnoxious, I suppose, to put it politely, towards his younger brother. Would be at times, a good older brother, and at other times be incredibly violent towards him. Now, by the time Morrison left home and started going to UCLA Film School, he had started to reinvent himself as the Lizard King, as it were. The early acid days, the infamous period spent on that 1965 Venice rooftop, living across the beach and doing acid regularly and filling notebook upon notebook of poems, is an incredibly mythological point in his career, or in his life. It was during this period that he really sort of came to be as a poet, as that Dionysian explorer. And it was during this period as well that he managed to meet up with Ray Manzarek once again. Of course, Manzarek in film school with Morrison. Now, Morrison was on the beach, bumped into Manzarek, and Morrison sang him one of the songs that he had been writing down, and from there, the Doors were formed. Now we flash forward a few years, and the band was working on their third LP, Waiting for the Sun, and it came time to record an epic, the likes of which they had not yet attempted. It was to be a sidelong suite. This is one of the only studio versions that I have ever found to encapsulate that particular audio voyage. So once again, from the Behind Closed Doors box set, this is the, well, hard to find, the absolute sort of holy grail, in my opinion, of some of the Doors work. This is Celebration of the Lizard.
Lions in the street and roaming, dogs in heat, rabid foaming, a beast caged in the heart of the city. The body of his mother rotting in the summer ground, he fled the town. He went down south and crossed the border, left the chaos and disorder back there over his shoulder. One morning he awoke in a green hotel with a strange creature groaning beside him. Sweat oozed from its shiny skin. Is everybody in? Is everybody in? Is everybody in? The ceremony is about to begin. Wake up! You can't remember where it was. Had this dream stopped? The snake was pale gold, glazed and shrunken. We were afraid to touch it. The sheets were hot, dead prisons. And she was beside me. Oh, she's no young. Her dark white hair, the white soft skin. Now run to the mirror in the bathroom, look, she's coming in here. I can't live through each slow century of her moving. I let my cheeks slide down the cool, smooth tile. Feel the good, cold, stinging blood. The smooth, hissing snakes. Once I had a little game. I like to crawl back in my brain. I think you know the game I mean. I mean the game called Go Insane. You should try this little game. Just close your eyes, forget your name, forget the world, forget the people, and we'll erect a different steeple. This little game is fun to do. Just close your eyes, no way to lose. And I'm right here, I'm going to release control. We're breaking through, yeah! quiet, unearthly presence of gentle hill people in the gentle hills around. Reptiles abounding, fossils, caves, cool air heights. Each house repeats a mold. Windows roll. Beast car locked in against morning. Rug silent, mirrors vacant, dust blind under the beds of lawful couples, wound in sheets, and daughters smug with semen, eyes in their nipples. Wait! There's been a slaughter here. Don't stop to speak or look around. Your gloves and fan are on the ground. You're getting out of town. You're going on the run. And you're the one I want to come. Touch the earth, not to see the sun, nothing left to do but run, 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 let's run. Let's run. House upon the hill, moon is lying still, shadows of the trees, witnessing the wild breeze. Come on, baby, run with me. Let's run, run with me, run with me, run with me, let's run. Touch the earth, not to see the sun, nothing left to do but to run, 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 let's run. Let's run. House upon the hill, moon is lying still, shadows of the trees, a witness in the wild breeze. Come on, baby, run with me, let her run. mansion is warm at the top of the hill. Rich are the rooms and the comforts there. Red are the arms of luxuriant chairs. You won't know a thing till you get inside, yeah. Run with me, run with me, run with me. Let's run. Some outlaws live by the side of a lake. The minister's daughter's in love with the snake, who lives in a well by the side of the road. Wake up, girl, we're almost home. Yeah, come on. We should see the gates by morning. We should be inside by evening. Let the carnival bells ring. Let the serpents sing. Let everything. We came down the rivers and highways. We came down from forests and falls. We came down from Carson and Springfield. We came down from Phoenix and Thrall. And I can tell you the names of the kingdom. I can tell you the things that you know. Listening for a fistful of silence, climbing valleys into the shade. I am the Lizard King. Retire now to your tents and to your dreams. Tomorrow we enter the town of my birth. I want to be ready.
An intense track right there. That was Celebration of the Lizard. I'm Randall Liberon. This is Pop Your Culture right here on Cheer FM and Radio Gordo. This week we're exploring the life and times, the music, the myth, and the dark side of Jim Morrison. One of the big apocryphal stories in Morrison's lifetime is the so-called dead Indians on the road. It was a story that he often told. His family was driving through the desert, and Morrison, aged approximately 4 years old, said that his family drove past an accident scene in which there were natives, as he described it, and some people said that he liked to embellish his stories, essentially scattered on the road, bleeding and dying and dead. His sister remembers it as, maybe they'd gone by an accident, but she didn't remember anything like that. Maybe some people were just crying on the side of the road. But young Morrison sort of took it to heart so deeply that he said that he felt that the spirits of the dead natives went into his body and filled him with this shamanistic spirit, and it was one of the things that propelled him in the early days of the band. It was something that, oddly enough, the spirits of the alcohol that he so widely consumed, so heavily consumed in the last years of his life, seemed to sap him of that. I mean, I suppose you could also look at that particular portrayal in Oliver Stone's much derided, in terms of its historical accuracy, biopic, The Doors. Whether or not you can look at that as being something that happened, Morrison himself really took to that particular incident and embodied it. And I think it still comes out in certain spirit, like we see on these two alternate versions of tracks from the final LP from The Doors during his lifetime. We got two of the big ones right here. On the far side, we have Riders on the Storm. But
Ray,
first up, this
one.
is LA Woman.
When you feel like it's about ready to start, come down an octave or something. Yeah.
your suburbs, into your blues, into your blues, into your blues, into your blues, yeah, alright. I see your hair is burning, hills are filled with fire. If they say I never loved you, you know they are a liar. Driving down your freeways, midnight alleys roam, cops in cars, the topless bars, never saw a woman so alone, so alone, so alone, alone, so alone, yeah. Woo! Motel money, murder madness. The chain of mood from glad to sadness. Yeah. Oh, Mr. Mojo Rising, Mr. Mojo Rising, Mr. Mojo Rising, Mr. Mojo Rising, Mr. Mojo Rising. Mr. Mojo Rising, got to keep on rising. Mr. Mojo Rising, Mr. Mojo Rising, Mr. Mojo Rising, Mr. Mojo Rising, Mr. Mojo Rising. Keep on rising, keep on rising, 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 You got in a town about an hour ago. I took a look around me with where the wind blows. With a little girl in a Hollywood bungalow. Oh, you a lucky little lady in the city of life. Or just another lost angel. City of night. City of night, city of night, city of night, yeah, yeah.
Take 6. Close it, lock it. Don't let any mutants in here.
Riding down a trail to Albuquerque, saddlebags all filled with beans and jerky. Headed for K Circle B, TV ranch for you and me. K Circle B in Albuquerque. Wow! That's the feeling. And also the other one. Rawhide! Ride 'em in! Whip 'em out! Come on! Rawhide! How's that one go? He told me, this guy told me over here. He told me I don't follow orders, you know. I'm just a dumb singer, you know. Yeah, tell him, Ray, this guy's trying to tell me what I want to come in. All right, look, I'll come in whenever I feel like it, all right? So you don't have to do your signal. That'll give you a little break for your head. All right, this is called Riders on the Storm. Take 9. Hey, that's a good idea. Thunder. That'd be good at the beginning. You could do it with cymbals. We'll send out to Arizona for some good thunder. Hey, wait a minute. Are we serious now? Are we serious? This is take 10 now. Never be take 10 again. All right, Riders on the Storm, take 10. Mark that one. Riders on the storm, riders on the storm. Into this house are born, into this world we're thrown, like a dog without a bone, an actor out on loan. Riders on the storm. There's a killer on the road. His brain is screaming like a toad. Take a long holiday. Let your children play. If you give this man a ride, sweet family will die. Killer on the road. Yeah. Girl, you gotta love your man. Girl, you gotta love your man. Take him by the hand. Make him understand. Girl, on you depends. Our life will never end. You gotta love your man. Yeah. Riders on the storm, riders on the storm. Into this house we're born, to this world we're thrown. Like a dog without a bone, an actor out on loan. Riders on the storm, riders on the storm, riders on the storm, riders on the storm, riders on the storm.
Interesting earlier takes of two well-known songs. That was Riders on the Storm, and before that, LA Woman. Next up here on Pop Your Culture, we're going to take a look at an interesting project recorded before Morrison passed, obviously, but completed a number of years after his death. And I'd have to say that a certain element of his life needs to be mentioned right now, and that would be his partner. So Pamela Corson is probably widely considered to be his main girlfriend. She even at times took to taking his last name, but there's another woman in this particular story that I think is incredibly fascinating, as she was one who wasn't one to necessarily shrink from the myth and the idol that was Jim Morrison in the media. Patricia Keneally Morrison actually ended up marrying Morrison in a Celtic hand fasting ceremony, a ceremony that she realized that Morrison maybe didn't take as seriously as she did. She considered the two married. She was an incredibly powerful woman in her own way. She was a woman who, unlike Pamela Corson, wasn't a drug addict with a kind of a more flighty nature. Patricia she worked in the media. She was the dame of the Ordo Supremus Militaris Templi Hierosolymanti, and a high priestess in the Celtic pagan tradition, as well as a member of Mensa. She was a woman who was easily equal to the poetic Lizard King stature that Morrison had filled out for himself. And I think that that's a really important relationship in that they were still kind of on again, off again, much like Jim and Pamela, when Jim went in to record the material that ended up becoming the album An American Prayer, which was released in 1978. This was essentially split into 5 parts. We're going to do the first 3 parts now. Part 3 is The Poet's Dream. Part 2 is To Come of Age. And this one, to get us going right here on Pop Your Culture. This is Awake.
Is everybody in? Is everybody in? Is everybody in? The ceremony is about to begin. Wake up! You can't remember where it was! Has this dream stopped? Awake. Shake dreams from your hair, my pretty child, my sweet one. Choose the day and choose the sign of your day, the day's divinity. First thing you see. A vast, radiant beach and a cool, jeweled moon. Couples naked race down by its quiet side. And we laugh like soft, mad children, smug in the woolly cotton brains of infancy. The music and voices are all around us. Choose, they croon, the ancient ones, the time has come again. Choose now, they croon, beneath the moon, beside an ancient lake. Enter again the sweet forest, enter the hot dream, come with us. Everything is broken up in dances. Indians scattered on dawn's highway bleeding, ghosts crowd the young child's fragile eggshell mind. Me and my mother and father and a grandmother and a grandfather were driving through the desert at dawn, and a truckload of Indian workers had either hit another car or just, I don't know what happened. But there were Indians scattered all over the highway, bleeding to death. So the car pulls up and stops. That was the first time I tasted fear. I must have been about 4. Like a child, is like a flower. His head is just floating in the breeze, man. The reaction I get now, thinking about it, looking back, is that the souls or the ghosts of those dead Indians, maybe 1 or 2 of them, were just running around, freaking out, and just leaped into my soul. And they're still there. Indians scattered on dawn's highway bleeding. Ghosts crowd the young child's fragile eggshell mind. Blood in the streets in the town of New Haven. Blood stains the roofs and the palm trees of Venice. Blood in my love in the terrible summer. Bloody red sun of fantastic LA. Blood screens the brain to chop off the fingers. Blood will be born in the birth of a nation. Blood is the rose of mysterious union. Blood on the rise is following me. Indian, Indian, what did you die for? Indian says nothing at all. Gently they stir, gently rise, the dead or newborn awakening, with ravaged limbs and wet souls, gently they sigh in rapt funeral amazement. Who called these dead to dance? Was it the young woman learning to play the ghost song in her baby grand? Was it the wilderness children? Was it the ghost god himself, stuttering, cheering, chatting blindly? I called you up to anoint the earth. I called you to announce sadness falling like burned skin. I called you to wish you well, to glory in self like a new monster, and now I call on you to pray. A military station in the desert. Can we resolve the past, lurking jaws, joints of time, the base, to come of age in a dry place, holes and caves? My friend drove an hour each day from the mountains. The bus gives you a hard-on with books in your lap. Someone shot the bird in the afternoon dance show. They gave out free records to the best couple. Spades dance best from the hip. The music was new, black, polished chrome and came over the summer like liquid night. The DJs took pills to stay awake and play for 7 days. They went to the studio and someone knew him. Someone knew the TV showman. He came to our homeroom party and played records, and when he left in the hot noon sun and walked to his car, we saw the Chooks had written F-U-C-K on his windshield. He wiped it off with a white rag and, smiling coolly, drove away. He's rich, got a big car. My gang will get you. Scenes of rape in the Arroyo. Seductions in cars, abandoned buildings. Fights at the food stand. Dust. The shoes. twin shirts and raised collars. Bright sculptured hair. Hey man, you want girls, pills, grass? Come on, I show you a good time. This place has everything. Come on, I show you.
We adults, we want to curse and fight. Say things boys think tip to be a man. Spend money buying lots of pretty things. Girls will find doesn't make them fine if they ain't got something inside to shine. Get over it. You too!
Angels and sailors, rich girls, backyard fences, tents, dreams watching each other narrowly, soft, luxuriant cars, girls in garages stripped, out to get liquor and clothes, half gallons of wine and 6-packs of beer. Jumped, humped, born to suffer, made to undress in the wilderness.
I will never treat you mean. Never start no kind of scene. And I'll tell you every place and person that I've been.
Always a playground instructor, never a killer. Always a bridesmaid, on the verge of fame or over, he maneuvered 2 girls into his hotel room. One a friend, the other, the young one, a newer stranger, vaguely Mexican or Puerto Rican. Poor boy's thighs and buttocks scarred by a father's belt. She's trying to rise. Story of her boyfriend, of teenage stone death games. Handsome lad, dead in a car. Confusion. No connections. Come here. I love you. Peace on earth. Will you die for me? Eat me. This way. The end.
I'll always be true. Never go out sneaking out on you, babe. If you lonely, show me far out and again.
I'm surprised you could get it up. He whips her lightly, sardonically with belt. Haven't I been through enough, she asks, now dressed and leaving. The Spanish girl begins to bleed. She says her period. It's Catholic heaven. I have an ancient Indian crucifix around my neck. My chest is hard and brown. Lying on stained, wretched sheets with a bleeding virgin. We could plan a murder or start a religion.
I tell you this, no eternal reward will forgive us now for wasting the dawn.
Back in those days, everything was simpler and more confused. One summer night, going to the pier, I ran into 2 young girls. The blonde was called Freedom, the dark one, Enterprise. We talked and they told me the story. Now listen to this. I'll tell you about Texas radio and the big beat. Soft, driven, slow and mad like some new language. Reaching your head with the cold, sudden fury of a divine messenger. Let me tell you about heartache and the loss of God, wandering in hopeless night. Out here in the perimeter, there are no stars. Out here, we is stoned, immaculate.
The movie will begin in 5 moments, the mindless voice announced. All those unseated will await the next show. We filed slowly, languidly into the hall. The auditorium was vast and silent. As we seated and were darkened, the voice continued. The program for this evening is not new. You have seen this entertainment through and through. You've seen your birth, your life and death. You might recall all of the rest. Did you have a good world when you died? Enough to base a movie on? Getting out of here. Where are you going? To the other side of morning. Please don't chase the clouds, pagodas. Her cunt gripped him like a warm, friendly hand. It's all right, all your friends are here. When can I meet them? After you've eaten. I'm not hungry. Oh, we meant beaten. Silver stream, silvery scream. Ooh, impossible concentration. Curses, invocations. Weird, bait-headed mongrels, I keep expecting one of you to rise. Large, buxom, obese queens, garden hogs and cunt veterans. Quaint cabbage saints, shit hoarders and individualists, drag strip officials. Tight-lipped losers and lustful fuck salesmen, my militant dandies, all strange order of monsters, hot on the trail of the woodvine. We welcome you to our procession. Here come the comedians. Look at them smile, watch them dance in Indian Mile. Look at them gesture, how a plum so to gesture everyone. Words dissemble, words be quick, words resemble walking sticks. Plant them, they will grow, watch them waver so. I'll always be a word man, better than a bird man.
Now, if we were to actually break down all the various parts, the little poems, the fragments that made up those 3 parts, Awake, To Come of Age, and The Poet's Dream, if we go all the way back to the beginning, we're looking at Ghost Song, Dawn's Highway, Newborn Awakening, Black Polished Chrome, Latino Chrome, Angels and Sailors, Stoned Immaculate, and then the movie and Curses and Invocations. I'm Randall Liberon. This is Pop Your Culture right here on Cheer FM and Radio Gordo on this celebration of the darker side of Jim Morrison to honor his 52nd anniversary of his passing, which took place on July 3rd. We're right in the middle of An American Prayer, and you know what? We're going to continue on with the second half of this album. That's right, we're going to do the entire thing in this particular show. The final 2 parts are coming at us right now. We have The World on Fire and An American Prayer. So let's do this. This is The World on Fire.
All hail the American night. What was that? I don't know. Sounds like guns, thunder.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Los Angeles, California, the Doors!
I'll keep your eye on the road, you hand upon the wheel. I'll keep your eyes on the road, you hand upon the wheel. Come to the road, that's gonna have a good time. Yeah, the back of the road has to got some bungalows. Out the back of the road has to got some bungalows. Just for the people like to go down slow. Let it roll, let it roll. Let it roll, let it roll. Let it roll, let it roll. Let it roll. All night long. Yeah, man, come on. You gotta roll, 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 gotta feel my soul, alright. Roll, 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 gotta feel my soul. You gotta chop the cool, come, get down to cheat on. Bum, 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 beep, bop, balula, con, chi, no, eat, don't, chi, that's all. Park the kill, guitar, kinda not a cook on, low, tall. But you told me, Bob, no. Talk, no, chong, mo. Bob, no, chong, go. Come, don't, it, alright. Ashen lady, give up your vows, give up your vows, save our city, right now. Well, I woke up in the morning, got myself a beer. Listen, man. Listen, man. I don't know how many of you people believe in astrology. Yeah, that's right, baby. I am a Sagittarius. The most philosophical of all the signs. But anyway, I don't believe in it. I think it's a bunch of bullshit myself. But I'll tell you this, man. I don't know what's gonna happen, man. But I want to have my kicks before the whole shithouse goes up in flames. All right.
The world on fire. Taxi from Africa, the Grand Hotel. He was drunk. A big party last night. Going back in all directions, sleeping these insane hours. I'll never wake up in a good mood again. I'm sick of these stinky boots.
Hey! This is the end of this, fella.
I think for your own sake, while all the police are out there containing the keys, you ought to get in the car and split. I really do. Unless he wants to have them grab at his body.
Stay back.
Lament for my cock, sore and crucified, I seek to know you, acquiring soulful wisdom. You can open walls of mystery, strip show. How to acquire death in the morning show. TV death which the child absorbs. Death well mystery which makes me write. Slow train, the death of my cock gives life. Forgive the poor old people who gave us entry, taught us God in the child's prayer in the night. Guitar player, ancient wise satyr, sing your ode to my cock. Caress its lament, stiffen and guide us, we frozen. Lost cells, the knowledge of cancer, to speak to the heart and give the great gift, words, power, trance. This stable friend and the beasts of his zoo, wild-haired chicks, women flowery in their summit, monsters of skin, each color connects to create the boat which rocks the race. Could any hell be more horrible than now and real? I pressed her thigh and death smiled. Death, old friend, death and my cock are the world. I can forgive my injuries in the name of wisdom, luxury, romance. Sentence upon sentence, words are healing lament for the death of my cock spirit has no meaning in the soft fire. Words got me the wound and will get me well, if you believe it. All join now in lament for the death of my cock, a tongue of knowledge in the feathered night. Boys get crazy in the head and suffer. I sacrifice my cock on the altar of silence.
Thoughts in time and out of season. The hitchhiker stood by the side of the road and leveled his thumb in the calm calculus of reason.
Hi, how you doing? I just got back into town. LA. I was out on the desert for a while. Yeah. In the middle of it. Right. Hey, listen, man, I really got a problem. Well, when I was out in the desert, man, I don't know how to tell you, but I killed somebody. No, it's no big deal, you know. I don't think anybody will find out about it. Just, this guy gave me a ride and started giving me a lot of trouble, and I just couldn't take it, you know. Wasted it.
Do you know the warm progress under the stars? Do you know we exist? Have you forgotten the keys to the kingdom? Have you been born yet, and are you alive? Let's reinvent the gods, all the myths of the ages. Celebrate symbols from deep elder forests. Have you forgotten the lessons of the ancient war? We need great golden copulations. Fathers are cackling in trees of the forest. Our mother is dead in the sea. Do you know we are being led to slaughters by placid admirals, and that fat, slow generals are getting obscene on young blood? Do you know we are ruled by TV? The moon is a dry blood beast. Guerrilla bands are rolling numbers in the next block of green vine, amassing for warfare on innocent herdsmen who are just dying. Oh, great creator of being, grant us one more hour to perform our art and perfect our lives. The moths and atheists are doubly divine and dying. We live, we die, and death not ends it. Journey we more into the nightmare, cling to life, our passion flower, cling to cunts and cocks of despair. We got our final vision by clap, Columbus's groin got filled with green death. I touched her thigh and death smiled. We have assembled inside this ancient and insane theater to propagate our lust for life and flee the swarming wisdom of the streets. The barns are stormed, the windows kept, and only one of all the rest to dance and save us with the divine mockery of words, music and flame's temperament. True kings' murderers are allowed to roam free. 1,000 magicians arise in the land. Where are the feasts we were promised? Where is the wine, the new wine, dying on the vine? Resident mockery, give us an hour for magic. We of the purple glove, we of the starling flight and velvet hour, we of Arabic pleasures breed, we of sundom in the night. Give us a creed to believe, a night of lust, give us trust in the night.
Give of color 100 hues, a rich mandala for me and you. And for your silky pillowed house, a head, wisdom, and a bed. Troubled decree, resolute mockery has claimed thee. We used to believe in the good old days. We still receive in little ways the things of kindness and unsporting brow forget and allow. Did you know freedom exists in a school book? Did you know madmen are running our prison within a jail, within a gale, within a white free Protestant maelstrom? We're perched headlong in the edge of boredom. We're reaching for death on the end of a candle. We're trying for something that's already found us. Wow, I'm sick of doubt. Live in the light of certain South cruel bindings. The servants have the power. Dog men and their mean women pulling poor blankets over our sailors. I'm sick of dour faces staring at me from the TV tower. I want roses in my garden bower, dig? Royal babies, rubies must now replace aborted strangers in the mud. These mutants, blood meal for the plant that's plowed. They are waiting to take us into the severed garden. You know how pale and wanton thrillful comes death in a strange hour, unannounced, unplanned for, like a scaring, over-friendly guest you've brought to bed. Death makes angels of us all and gives us wings where we had shoulders smooth as ravens' claws. No more money, no more fancy dress. This other kingdom seems by far the best until its other jaw reveals incest and loose obedience to a vegetable law. I will not go. Prefer a feast of friends to a giant family. Then we hear a whistle like a bosun's pipe. And the carnival immediately begins, gradually mixing rain, thunder, bullfight, football, playground, war, penny arcade, Babylon fading. Bird of prey, flying high,
in the summer sky. Bird of prey, bird of prey, flying high, gently pass on by. Bird of prey, flying high, am I going to die? Bird of prey, flying high, take me on your flight. Awake. Shake dreams from your hair, my pretty child, my sweet one. Choose the day and choose the sign of your day, the day's divinity. First thing you see. A vast, radiant beach and a cool, jeweled moon. Couples naked race down by its quiet side. And we laugh like soft, mad children, smug in the woolly cotton brains of infancy. The music and voices are all around us. Choose, they croon, the ancient ones, the time has come again. Choose now, they croon, beneath the moon, beside an ancient lake. Enter again the sweet forest, enter the hot dream, come with us. Everything is broken up in dances. Indians scattered on dawn's highway bleeding, ghosts crowd the young child's fragile eggshell mind. We have assembled inside this ancient and insane theater to propagate our lust for life and flee the swarming wisdom of the streets. The barns are stormed, the windows kept, and only one of all the rest to dance and save us with the divine mockery of words, music and flame's temperament. Oh, great creator of being, grant us one more hour to perform our art and perfect our lives. We need great golden copulations. When the true king's murderers are allowed to roam free, 1,000 magicians arise in the land. Where are the feasts we were promised?
One more thing.
In that case, you're on.
Thank you, O Lord, for the white, blind light. Thank you, O Lord, for the white, blind light. A city rises from the sea. I had a splitting headache from which the future's made.
And that was the conclusion of An American Prayer, released in 1978. Of course, a posthumous release of Jim Morrison's poetry album, featuring music as produced by The Doors. Going all the way back to the start, we had, well, the World on Fire segment, and then American Prayer, broken down into the subsequent tracks: American Night, Roadhouse Blues, Lament, The Hitchhiker, and then The End, and then Albione Adiago. There was also 3 bonus tracks: Babylon Fading, Bird of Prey, and The Ghost Song, which was an extended version, including a spoken word sort of poetry section as an epilogue. And now we do find ourselves approaching the final song of the night. One other aspect that I kind of wanted to talk to about is the death of Morrison. Now, it's said that he died of heart failure at the age of 27. His body found in the Paris bathtub by his girlfriend Pamela Corson. There are many people who say that it was a heroin overdose, and what I've seen mentioned, and I believe it might have even been in the Final 24 Hours documentary, kind of alluded at in other series as well, is the fact that this man who, also if you want to factor in a little bit of salaciousness in Stephen Davis's book, may have been bisexual. A lot of people discredit that. There are some people who say that that was what was going on, and it led to his extremes in temperament. It is said that when Jim had gone to Paris with Pamela, she was a heroin addict. He vehemently hated heroin, but it's said that on the last night of his life, he went to a Paris nightclub in order to score heroin for Pamela. And it has been said in some circles that the overdose that killed him happened when he tested the wares in the nightclub. He was found already dead in the bathroom, but in order to avoid suspicion of law on the nightclub, Morrison's body was moved by the dealers from the club back to his apartment, and they put him in the bath where his body was later found. Whether or not that's the case, we still ended up losing Morrison on July 3rd, 1971. Wrapping up this edition of Pop Culture This Week, this is a live version of The End, live from Madison Square Garden, 1970.
This is the end, beautiful friend. This is the end, my only friend. The end of our elaborate plans. The end of everything that stands. The end, no say. into your eyes again. Can you picture what will be so limitless and free, desperately in need of some stranger's hand in a desperate land? Come on, baby. Come follow me across the sea endlessly. Come follow me across the sea. Lost in a Roman wilderness of pain, all the children are insane. All the children are insane. There's danger on the edge of town. Ride the King's Highway, baby. Weird scenes inside the gold mine. Ride the highway west, baby. Ride the snake to the lake. Ride the snake to the ancient lake, baby. The snake, he's long, 7 miles. Ride the snake, he's old. Okay, stop the car. I'm getting out. I can't take it. Hey, look out, there's somebody coming, and there's nothing you can do about it. The killer awoke before dawn. He put his boots on. He took a face from the ancient gallery and he walked on down the hallway, baby. He came to a door. He looked inside. Hey, you old fool, I want to kill you. Woman, I wanna fuck you, mama, all night long. You what? All night long. Come on, baby, take a chance with us. Come on, baby, take a chance with us. Come on, baby, take a chance with us. Meet me at the back of the blue bus. Meet me at the back of the blue bus. Do the blue rock, do the blue bus. Do the blue rock, do the blue bus. Blue rock, do the. Whoa! Come on! end, my only friend. This is the end, beautiful friend, the end. It hurts to set you free, but you'll never follow me. The end of laughter and soft lies. The end of nights we tried to die. This is the end.
And that's been Poppy Culture for this week. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. Thanks to CHR FM and Radio Gordo. Until next time, y'all be cool to one another. Later.